So in today's video, we're going to take a look at each of the individual shotguns. We're going to look at their one-shot kill range in core game modes as well as hardcore. And as I normally like to do with these types of videos, I am going to include a best class setup with timestamps in the description as well as in the comment section. And a quick reminder, if you do enjoy the content, let me know by hitting the like button. And if you're brand new to the channel or just haven't yet subscribed, definitely consider subscribing for more Call of Duty content. So the main thing I want to focus on when figuring out the different damage profiles is what range could you get a one-shot kill in the hipfire while aiming down sight, as well as using that slug ammunition. For all of my testing, I maxed out the range of the weapon, and that'll be reflected in the individual class setups. So we're going to start off with the Model 680, and pretty much anything at the top that does more than 100 damage is a kill in core game modes, and anything that does above 30 damage is a kill in hardcore game mode. So at the hipfire, you can see it does 101 damage at approximately 12.5 meters. And right about 17.5 meters is the damage drop off while you're aiming down sight. You can see right there it only did about 70 damage, and then it does exactly 100 at that 17.5 meter mark. I also tried out the slug, and for this particular shotgun, I would not recommend it because it wasn't all that practical. So the best class setup for the Model 680 that I found was the FSS Marauder, the XRK 18-inch Liberator, the XRK True Grip Tactical, no stock, and then the 1MW laser. And in terms of ranking this shotgun against the other three on the list, I would actually put this one at the top of the list. I put it ahead of the 725 primarily because the ammo capacity, and the other two, they're a little bit less forgiving on that range, where most of the time you're going to see that you have to land 2 shots to get the kill, even though there is a one-shot kill range. Next up on the list is the R9-0, and with this particular shotgun, you can see as I creep forward, I do eventually get a hit marker right around the 22 meter range. So even though I moved a lot closer, it still did 18 damage, and then if I took a step forward, right here you can see it ends up doing that 78 damage, followed up by like a 96. And what's unfortunate about this particular weapon is it's gonna do about the same damage regardless if you're aimed down sight or you're at the hip fire, so hip firing is probably the way to go. The other downside with this individual shotgun is that there is a burst delay. You're able to fire 2 shots back to back pretty quickly, but then there's a little bit of a delay between that second and third shot, the same with the fourth and the fifth, all the way up until you've used all that particular ammo. So more often than not, this weapon will be a 2-shot kill. In some scenarios, it'll be a 3-shot kill. But if you're in a scenario where you've actually fired an odd number of rounds, make sure you go ahead and reload. You can go ahead and bring it back up to even, so you're not punished by the delay. And since the video is about that one-shot kill, you need to be about 5 meters away to actually get that one-shot kill where it does over 100 damage. So the best class setup I have for the R9-0 is going to be the choke for the muzzle, the forged tack sentry for the barrel, the underbarrel, I use that Merc foregrip, the stipple grip tape, and then the 5MW laser. And overall, when it comes to ranking the different shotguns, I put this one dead last. Because of that delay, it ends up being pretty tied with the last rifle we'll talk about. But because of that delay, you can actually get punished more often than not, especially if you run up and take out one person, and then you gotta have that little bit of delay before you can actually take out the next. Or if there ends up being 3 and you get 2 one-shot kills, then you have another delay before you're actually able to fire that 3rd round and take the next guy out. So because of that issue, I really think this is one of the worst shotguns in the game. Doesn't mean it's bad, you just have to be aware of how to use it. So next up was the shotgun that used to be pretty annoying, and that's going to be the 725. When you aim down sight, you're able to get about 15 to 17.5 meters. If you're doing the hip fire, you got to be significantly closer at about 17.5 meters. So one of the nice things about the 725, it is the only shotgun that it actually makes sense to equip the slug rounds because of the effective range boost that you're getting out of it. You're only going to be able to land 2 shots, so you're going to want to make sure that you're able to get that one-shot kill. So let's go ahead and talk about the individual ranges, whether you're shooting the body or the head. Obviously in the hip fire, you're not going to be that accurate because it's an individual round. So that is something to keep in mind. If you switch over to the slug, make sure you are aiming down sight. Just like the marksman rifles, if you manage to land a headshot, it will be a one-shot kill. Just the velocity of the bullets aren't all that great. So as they get further away, it's going to be significantly harder to hit those shots. And if you just manage to land a body shot, you will be able to get a kill up to 22.5 meters. So best class setup for the 725 is going to be the choke muzzle, the Tempest 32-inch competition barrel, the slug round, and sleight of hand. And the only reason I end up putting 4 attachments because I want to leave an extra one there for you in case you want to go with an optic, or to go ahead and remove the stock so you can have that faster aim down sight time as well as sprint out time. And as far as ranking the 725 with all the different nerfs, I would actually put it towards that 2nd or the 3rd spot and it'd be really interchangeable with the last shotgun that we're going to talk about. And the primary issue that I have is, even though it's very consistent at the damage profiles, you're able to land those shots, but regardless of that, you're only going to be allowed to get 2 shots off before you have to reload. So it's going to be great in those 1v1 and 2v1 scenarios, but as soon as you end up throwing a third player into the mix, it's going to be a little bit tricky to survive those gunfights. So with the Origin 12, it's basically identical to that R9-0 because of the damage profiles. It's almost always going to kill you at the exact same ranges. Even at the further ranges, you're going to do the exact same damage. The only real difference comes down to that fire rate, and this one is way more forgiving because after you fire 2 rounds, there's not a delay between the second and the third round, which in my opinion automatically puts it ahead of the R9. And right here you can see how the damage ends up picking up as soon as you get to around that 22.5 meter range, and then you need to be within the 5 meter range to actually get that one-shot kill, just like we saw with the R9. The best class setup for the Origin 12 is going to be the choke muzzle, the forged tack precision barrel, the stippled grip tape, no stock, and then the 5 MW laser. And I've already kind of said where I rank this weapon. It is in that second or third spot, really depending on that scenario, head to head with the 7.25. So those are my thoughts on shotguns. Hopefully you enjoyed the video or found it helpful in some way. If you did, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you're brand new to the channel or just not yet subscribed, definitely hit the red subscribe button, turning it to gray with notifications on so you'll be able to find your way back for more Call of Duty content. Do appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.